Nebraska fans must feel like they have been going through a never-ending nightmare. For 20 years, fans have seemingly been tormented by the team in an on and off again saga. Last year, they became the first team in college football history to lose 8 games by 1 score and 9 by single digits. They allowed a scoop and score against Illinois that led to 4 more touchdowns in their home opener. They had a botched punt against Michigan State and fumbled late while tied against Michigan. They also fell apart against Iowa and even drove down to the Wisconsin 11-yard line in the final minute before turning it over on downs. It was a brutal season. It was heartbreaking, and you feel for the players. Yet there seems to be hope in Lincoln as 54,000 fans showed up for the Nebraska spring game. This could be the year the Cornhuskers make it back to a bowl game. Last season, the Cornhuskers played hard in every game, but just fell short when the clock hit 0. There were multiple scenarios where they came up short by 1 play or 2 plays. Mickey Joseph returns to Nebraska, serving as the Cornhuskers associate head coach and wide receivers coach. Joseph is a former quarterback for the Huskers, finishing his career there in 1991. Nebraska is historically a blue blood when it comes to college football, but in recent years, it has not seemed close to that. From 1962 to 2001, the program built by legendary coaches Bob Devaney and Tom Osborne won 398 games, 44 more than the second most winning team, Penn State, in that period. During the 15 seasons that followed, Nebraska dropped to 26th nationally in winning percentage, sandwiched between Michigan and Miami. Since 2017, Nebraska has gone 19-37, which ranks 110th out of 130 FBS programs and better than only 7 programs in the Power 5. When Scott Frost was hired after leading UCF to a 13-0 record, he was supposed to lead the Cornhuskers back to greatness. In 2 years as the Nebraska starting quarterback, he led the Cornhuskers to a 24-2 record and was a part of 2 national title winning teams. Since taking over the job at the end of 2017, Frost has put together a 15-29 record at Nebraska and may actually be on the hot seat. So what led to Nebraska's downfall? Well, according to The Athletic, it has been a slow one going back to when Nebraska agreed to concessions that led to the erosion of its talent base in recruiting when the Big 8 expanded to include 4 teams from Texas more than a quarter century ago. Tom Osborne decided to retire in 1997 at the age of 60 after winning 3 national championships in 5 years, which was viewed as a premature retirement. Because of a promise made to Frank Solich, the loyal Nebraska lieutenant took over for Osborne. Solich performed well at Nebraska to most people's standards, but remember, this was a school coming off 3 national titles. 6 seasons in charge, winning 58 of 77 games, was not good enough in Lincoln. A devastating 2001 loss at rival Colorado stripped Nebraska's aura of invincibility it had built over 50 years. 2 years later, a protracted coaching search directed by self-enamored athletic director Steve Pedersen thrust outside Bill Callahan on Nebraska. He never fit well. Then came Bo Pelini, who took over for Callahan after a losing season in 2007 that included a game where Nebraska was down 38-0 at home against Oklahoma State at half. Pelini took Nebraska to a pair of Big 12 championship games and 1 Big 10 title game. But he struggled to break through, and the Huskers adapted slowly to the Big 10 after Osborne as AD and Chancellor Harvey Perlman orchestrated the switch of conferences. Clashes with the Nebraska administration doomed Pelini along with a litany of unnecessary drama that dragged into the Riley and Frost years. Then came the hiring of Sean Eichhorst to lead the athletic department in 2012, which was doomed from the start without Osborne's support. They then went in the completely other direction when they hired Bill Moose 5 years later from the Pac-12. Moose did bring Frost, but did not provide the support and oversight for a major turnaround. Mitch Sherman from The Athletic writes, "No single answer explains the nosedive. Amid the losing though, a light shines. Nebraska football is not dead. So why is there still hope surrounding the Nebraska program? Well, they hold an NCAA record sellout streak of 376 games, and next to Memorial Stadium, a $165 million, 315,000 square foot complex is set to open next year as the largest of its kind in the nation. There's still a lot of passion surrounding the Cornhuskers program, and the football team needs to tap into it. The program also seems to be all in on the NIL world, and if done right, could return the team back to its glory days. Athletic director Trev Alberts returned to Nebraska last spring, and when he arrived, it was just days after NIL legislation was passed. Nebraska had a plan in place, but credited Alberts for pushing forward and working to secure every piece of revenue that we could get at to keep his school viable as the stakes escalate nationally. Nebraska recently walked away from a 12-year, $215 million multimedia rights deal with JMI Sports to keep its operation in-house, likely temporary, and look for a better deal soon. On Saturday, the school announced plans for an NVEST program beginning in August. Nebraska student athletes on full or partial athletic scholarship can earn up to $5,980 per year by meeting academic benchmarks. It is allowed by the U.S. Supreme Court decision last year in the NCAA versus Alston case and creates a need for Nebraska to raise $3.5 million to support the payments. ABM also announced the creation of the N100, a specific collective that allows businesses and individuals to support athletes. Under the umbrella of N100 exists N250, an opportunity to directly support the NIL endeavors of position groups. N250 Power, for instance, collects money for tight ends and linebackers. During the spring game, they hosted some of the top transfer portal players and top high school recruits. While this is great and shows a bright future for the program, this year is still extremely important. The Huskers have to try to make a bowl game this season if Frost wants to probably keep his job. The Huskers have not been to a bowl game since 2016. They will be coming off their worst season in the Frost era. While 54,000 fans are great attendance figures for a spring game, attendance topped 85,000 in 2018 and 2019, nation-leading figures in Frost's first 2 springs. Frost hired 5 new assistant coaches, including Mark Whipple as offensive coordinator from Pitt. They also added multiple players through the transfer portal, including Texas transfer quarterback Casey Thompson, who led the Big 12 in touchdowns last fall. Nebraska opens their season in Dublin, Ireland against Northwestern, a game they should win according to most outlets. They then host North Dakota, Georgia Southern, Oklahoma, and Indiana at Memorial Stadium. I think they win 3 of those 4 games, dropping their game to the Sooners. If that all happens, the Cornhuskers will be sitting at 4-1 before they play their first real road game when they travel to play Rutgers. Depending on the Scarlet Knights quarterback situation, this could be an unwanted test, so for this experiment, we will put it as a loss. The following week, they play Purdue, which will probably put another loss on their record. They return home to play Illinois, sitting at 4-3, and winning at home once again to move to 5-3. That means to get to bowl eligibility, they need to win one of their last 4 games against Minnesota, at Michigan, home against Wisconsin, and at Iowa. I think one win should be possible through that stretch, and that may not even be necessary if they pull off a win against either Rutgers or Purdue. Is this a team that will compete for the Big Ten title this season? No, but it's a team that should at least be playing in a bowl game. If Frost is able to get the Cornhuskers back to a bowl game, it could provide some major building blocks for the future. If he fails, his time in Lincoln may be coming to an end. What do you think? Does Nebraska make a bowl game this season? Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe for more college football content, and check out one of my other videos the algorithm thinks you might like right here. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, remember to embrace the grind.